machine was brought into Trafalgar Square and records were played on it to encourage young men to join the forces. In 1917 in New York, we've got the revolution in popular music provided by the original Dixieland Jazz Band from New Orleans. Electric recording was introduced in 1925 on a grand scale. It brought about the possibility of the intimate singer with the dance band, the crooner. The crooners used microphones as a new technique for addressing just one member of the audience, or seeming to. That was the secret of their success, I think.
Whispering while you cuddle near me, where the blue of the night meets the gold of the day, someone waits for me.
First time we could record the largest symphony orchestra at full strength, and they were very enterprising in making use of it in the very early days. By the time I joined in 1927, they were recording extracts of Wagner's Ring, for example, still on the old 78 record, which meant that there was only 4 to 4.5 minutes possible on each side. And of course that was a great handicap. In the 78 days, we couldn't play back what was recorded because it was on wax and it would have been ruined. So what we did, if it was very important recording, sometimes we recorded it in duplicate on 2 machines. And then we played back one of those so that the musician could hear what he'd done. But until it was processed in the factory, he didn't hear, in fact, what was going to be published. We generally reckon that we ought to get 4 78 sides in a 3-hour recording session. In fact, I think I almost did the record at Glyndebourne when I recorded 13. And as a result of that, the Musicians' Union, who were very quiet in those days, arrived on the scene and made eventually a limit of 4 sides, about 16 minutes of music. I think a great difference was in those days, musicians themselves were very conscious of the cost of the recording, particularly with the orchestra. And I've seen world-famous players run from the piano stool to the machine room and back again so as to just get in one more take before closing time. Then Yehudi, like a sort of meteorite, had burst on the musical scene, and he played for Elgar. Yehudi played it marvelously, and Elgar was absolutely enchanted.
With the Elgar Concerto, my recording activities really centered on Abbey Road. And it was a great occasion, and with a great man, Sir Edward Elgar, conducting this huge orchestra, the largest orchestra that I had ever played with as soloist, because it was a modern orchestra with all the paraphernalia that Beethoven would have never used, not even Brahms. And that was the great experience of that whole period, preparing the concerto, and that was Fred Geisberg's suggestion, and Elgar rather enjoyed it. The old story, you know, when we first met and he heard me play a few bars. It was a bright Saturday afternoon, one of the beautiful days, absolutely clear, and after hearing me play a few bars, he said, well, that'll be fine, we'll meet at the recording, I'm off to the races. And we met at the recording, and I was amazed at this man who evoked so much love and response from the musicians without apparently bothering himself at all. I don't think he strained or sweated or exhorted or admonished, none of that. He just stood there and they played. And I was amazed at this exhibition of Englishness, you see, which to me was quite amazing, having known more the musician who works very hard and becomes very passionate and tears his hair. There was nothing of that about Elgar. It all happened inside. Fortunately, that recording was made with the romantic, how shall I say, the vision, the quality of searching for expression, for beauty of sound. I think recordings have somewhat changed in that they search for clarity and precision more than beauty of sound. And the beauty of that sound, I thought, was quite beautiful. I was a very romantic boy, and the music suited me. I came too late for the horn. My career started with the first electric microphone when I was 11. And I did my first recordings, the Allegro by Fiocco. It was like a performance, certainly, because there was the knowledge there was no correction possible. So in that way, it was very free. And with the advent of the tape and the opportunity to play half an hour or 5 seconds or whatever the case may be, it gave much more freedom, certainly, and one could give a performance of a whole movement, if not a whole concerto. But there was something about the concentration on that little wax disc. It was a remarkable feeling. I can still see it now, the idea that you're going to a given point, you're recording it. You're not playing it for the public, not playing it for any other purpose than just to get it on this little disc as perfectly as you could.
They were the first block of recording studios in the world. Even after this last war, when I was in America, RCA were making records, and very good records, in rather grubby old dance studios and things in New York. They hadn't got a recording studio. No, it was a very revolutionary step.
This is the home of the radio gramophone. All kinds of ingenious machines are used to ensure perfection.
Once electric recording had come in 1925, of course, it was obvious that some sort of machinery was going to have to be invented to reproduce it at its best. And so you get electric radiograms, and they were very expensive. But they did get results from electric recording which a wind-up gramophone never could.
You are now the owner of the latest His Master's Voice radio gramophone. To show you how lovely modern records sound on a modern radio gramophone, here is Gillius, greatest tenor in the world, singing Your Tiny Hand is Frozen out of the opera Bohème. Now for Robeson.
When radio first started in about 1922, it was certainly no threat to the gramophone. In fact,